And unfortunately, that's absolutely right here too, is that if you want to advance, if you want to impress what are called the whip's office, because the whips, I think on both sides.
Oh, you have a whip as well?
We have, well, they came from us. We invented it.
Okay.
And they're the ones that govern the mechanics of how the House of Commons operates.
And maybe explain to anybody who doesn't know what a whip is, real briefly, what a whip does.
Okay, the whip's office control the House of Commons. So the Labour Party has got a whip's office and the Conservatives have as well. And they're the monitors, if you like, the school monitors. And they watching...
Kind of the lead figure within the party, right?
The chief whip is critical. So it's the third or fourth most highest person within your political party. And in fact, they're so powerful that the Prime Minister lives in number 10, the Chancellor lives in number 11, and the chief whip lives in number 9 down in
No, really? I didn't know that. I didn't realize that.
So that's how powerful that person is.
Yeah.
And if you impress the chief whip is responsible for the daily running of the House of Commons. The Prime Minister is dealing with all the policy and this, that, and the other, but the daily running is done by the chief whip and the whips. If you impress the chief whip, then you're likely to be picked up for promotion. What's the best way of impressing the chief whip? Is to sycophantically say nice things about whoever is speaking at the dispatch box at the time. Yeah. If you dare to speak your own mind, that is not a career enhancing move. And that's the dilemma that we face today, which is what you pointed out. How does your own political views themselves that you want to promote actually sit in the fact that you actually are part of a collective responsibility? And so you've got to choose your battles. That's what you have to do.
Well, if I may summarize from my understanding, you can correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that the whip is usually the lead of your party, puts forth agenda points, does negotiation with the own party members to make sure that they're aligned and that they toe the line, and sometimes also crosses the corridor to see if they can't get other people from the other party to follow whatever bills they're trying to push through. That's kind of what I understand that a whip does.
Yeah, I think that's very, very fair. That's essentially what happens. It's running the mechanics of the day-to-day operations of the House of Commons. And a lot of legislation, much as you see it under Prime Minister's question time, where it's a lot of argy-bargy, a lot of theatre. Yeah. Actually, there's an awful lot of agreement that takes place too, because there's policy which, even if the other opposition were to come into power, they're not going to unpick. They're not going to replace. Just roll with it. So they won't bother voting. Some of them are more controversial. And we have a big one this Friday coming up, which is pertinent to what's going on in America, which is the right to die, about the right to take your own life, as we see in the Switzerland, the Dignitas model. So massive debate, really, one of personal views. So it's not being whipped this time. It's a free vote, as it's called, and they're quite rare. But that's happening this Friday, so it's quite interesting.
Oh, interesting. I wasn't aware of that. Very, very interesting.